on just to help with the sound. Hope everyone had a wonderful Christmas. I wanted to come on and just, you know, greet everyone, talk about this new energy, new year we're moving into, and what it's going to mean to be on your preparation mode for your move abroad if that's something you're looking to do for 2026. So I'm gonna wait a couple minutes and get my sound set up the way I want it. Um, and let's see. I am here coming to you live from the beach. All right, let me know if you can hear me. Can you put a one in the chat for me? Let me know that you can hear me. So yeah, we're coming to you from the beautiful city, wonderful city of Sao Paulo, Brazil. Here in Brazil is where we live. I live here with my family of three, my two children, 14 and 20, almost 21. And we just have a wonderful life here. And I wanted to continue to come on into this YouTube space and share a bit about the experiences of life here in Brazil, especially as a Black woman with a family, and also to just vibes a little bit on how we can support and help other families get prepared to get on the road and move out the country. For those of you who have never come across me before in the YouTube sphere, I am imaraifawuyi. This is Find Your Free. And yeah, we have been on a long journey of finding home. We've lived, my children and I have lived, I've been traveling with them, and particularly my first child since she was one. So about 20 years now. And traveling meaning we will go live in different countries, try them out for 6 months, a year and a half, or whatever. And then, leave just according to whatever residency situations or how we feel about the place or whatever, right? And so we have been doing this for a long time. I never thought that it would become a big thing where so many families were getting out here. But as we watch the obvious disintegration and the fall of the United States empire that I think a lot of us already knew was coming, because I had known from the 90s that the U.S. would not continue to be able to be this imperialistic power at the rate and at the level that it was. So as we watch that fall, a lot more families are getting interested in the lifestyle that I've been doing for a long time. And I hadn't really positioned myself in a major way to support but other people. I have worked with families in the past, but I want to increase my support because I think it's really important that families are, able to be handheld a little bit through the process of moving abroad so that they can do it in a way that is permanent if they choose, if that's what they want. They can do it in a way that, they feel good about the choices they've made, that they don't feel like they have to bounce back and go back to the United States and start over again and all of this bouncing around that I did for a long time. It's fun, it's nice, and it's great to have the variety and the experience of being international in that way, but it also is a changing world. So we're moving into a world where the digital ID is going to be coming down the pipeline. There's going to be a lot more restrictions. If you haven't even been hearing about it, the U.S. is blocking a lot of, especially Caribbeans and Africans, from immigrating into the U.S. right now, making it so that they can't renew their visas or get visas. Okay, so it's a lot of challenges that's going to potentially be coming down the pipeline for those of us that are travelers. And it might not be time to be trying to go from spot to spot to spot right now. It might be a good time to figure out somewhere to post up with your family and build a life. And, you have to understand that you can't just go to any country and stay. It just doesn't work that way. So for those who don't have a lot of experience traveling internationally, you have to abide by the rules of the nation that you're going to. So there aren't many nations that you can stay longer than 6 months at a time in a year. There are some that will allow you to stay for that time frame, but you need to be crossing some border, going out of the country for a few days, mixing it up, and then coming back. They don't want you just posting up like you live there and you're like, a resident or a native. And so these things complicate things, because obviously when you want to move abroad, you also need to, hold on, I gotta watch people because I don't be trusting folks. Yeah, you gotta, when you want to move abroad, you have to, have a plan. You can't just go out there willy-nilly, okay? You can go out there, but you don't want to go out there too willy-nilly, or else you're just going to be catapulted back, right? And so these are some of the things to think about. And there are so many fine details, so many details. I mean, and this is what we help people with our relocation concierge and consultations and the programs that we have, is that there's a lot of details. And yeah, you can go on Chat GPT and have them write out a whole detailed thing for you. But the real gift is having someone who can hold your hand and walk you from step to step in a way that's smooth. I've been here in Brazil for now, it's been a year and a half. We were here about a year and a half during the pandemic as well. And I lived in Brazil previous to that as a single woman too. So, we've had a good bit of experience here in Brazil, and that's just one of the locations. So yeah, it's important that folks understand that right now we're going into a new year. The year has passed. Trump done got into office and cut a fool. He has been, going full throttle with just all of the insanity that so many people foresaw coming down the pipeline with him, and it's really coming. And he doesn't seem like he's going to be stopping no time soon. And they're across the board making so many changes, so abrupt, hemming people up, grabbing people up, shipping them to different countries, ICE in the street. They are, making it impossible for the average American to really afford a good quality of life because of just the extreme expense. There's so much going on, y'all. And so I just think right now is a time to really be looking at 2026 as an opportunity. Hold on, let me make sure I know I'm at an opportunity to move forward out of this mess, okay? To really, really move forward and put a plan together. And, it's I think if you really want to do something, it shouldn't take you more than 6 months to a year to get a real plan together that will help you to move forward out of the incredible chaos that the U.S. is offering people right now. It shouldn't take no more than a year. And yeah, so it's something to consider. I mean, some people I know they have a long-term 4 or 5 year plan. Maybe they're getting ready to retire. They're not ready to make any moves that quickly. But with the state of things and what it looks to be a continual decline that is probably not going to be getting any better anytime soon, and all of the different locations in the world that you can go and, do border crossings so that you can stay long-term, or, at least stay 6 months out of the year. I think it's worth it to at least explore. Some of us out here and available. I feel like I went the wrong way. Y'all, excuse me. I'm wandering around in this super tree-lined area, but the whole area looks the same. And I'm trying to get back to the house. But yeah, y'all. So that is some of what we are working on for this year. So we are available to, to do coaching. And also we have a longer term program for those who need, the whole preparation time to be handheld. It takes about 2 to 3 months, and we walk you through everything that will take for you to move to your country of choice, and are just on call to assist. And so there are so many options. I just want people to know that right now is not a time to be doubting what you feel. If you feel like the U.S. is going to continue to just keep squeezing folks out and making it impossible for you to really have that quality of life that you deserve. We all deserve to live good. It's time to start thinking about and putting a plan together to move forward, to do something different, And I just wholeheartedly believe that. I just did a little short response to one of the naysayers that likes to come in my comment section, because you have a lot of people who are running their mouths a lot about how, we're quitters, we're abandoning where we're from. This is stupid. Why are you abroad when you should be here? This is the best country in the world. They really have a lot of like real ignorant stuff to say. And the way I responded to that was like, hey, everywhere you go, whenever things are falling apart in societies, because that happens, you're always going to have people who think they just need to stay and fight it out. And then you have those who know that they need to shift on and move on. And everybody has to deal with the repercussions of their choices. Check out that video, so nobody can tell anyone what to do or what's best for them, because what's best for you might not be best for somebody else. So that's it. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to go in. If you could wait a little bit, I'm back, I'm sure. Oh, thank you for waiting. Man, I didn't expect this gorgeous man to just come out of nowhere, like he came out of a damn tree or something, and give me directions. But I am on target now. But yeah, so 2026. I know a lot of people like to do their resolutions. They want to write out their plans. Use the resources that are available to you. Let Chat GPT do a little outline for you if you are into the AI thing. If not, just get to writing. Write down the things that you want to experience, even just the quality of life that you want to experience, the quality of foods, the type of weather, all of the preferences that you have. Write those things down and really, get in touch with what your needs and your wants are and what you want to experience. Start to write out pros and cons of a move. This is where you're getting clarity on whether this is a good move for you, a good plan, if it's actionable. Can you do this? Can you take the steps towards building a life outside of the United States with your family in particular? And obviously, there's a lot of needs that need to get met when you have a family. It's not like you can just think about what you want and then not consider the children, not consider the partner, if there is one. So it's really important that folks take their time and don't allow a new year to come in without at least jotting down some of these things so that you can get the ball rolling, get the creative juices rolling. What we are doing is creating new lives. This is creativity in action. And in order to have creativity, you've got to do something cardinal to get the ball rolling. Okay, we talk about the cardinality of, fire signs and things like that in astrology. It's a cardinal energy. It's the energy that gets things moving. You have to initiate that. That is a Eshu energy in the Ifa tradition. Eshu. So, do whatever you do spiritually, do your prayers, offerings, whatever it is you do, but go ahead and start to initiate. You don't want to keep sitting on your hands with just thoughts in your mind. And from there, you'll start to feel the ball roll, and more things will start to draw to you because you're now bringing these things down to earth. You're creating. So more things will start to draw to you that will provide you with information that will further your planning process, okay? And then you start to pull in your team. Who's supporting me on this? Who do I need to go towards that will help me to, kind of flesh this whole outline and this whole idea out so that it starts to become a reality. When I was starting to travel with my children, we didn't really have social media like that. So it was like, I just was on a whim. All I knew is that I couldn't, and this is, you talking 20 years ago, I knew that the United States way of being, of living was not for me. I just always knew that. I always knew I could have a better life outside. And I did. I lived in so many beautiful places. Mexico, Hawaii, parts of West Africa, the Canary Islands in Spain, France. I've lived in so many places. I did not love all of the different places. I've lived all over the Caribbean. parts of Central and South America. You know, I didn't love everywhere, but I did have a great quality of life in a lot of these areas. And so there's no regrets, but none of them were really home. And for me, because Brazil was one of my first full-time moves that I did as a young woman without children. I always knew that I wanted to come back and make a life here in Brazil. So it wasn't a surprise that, you know, when I could, I brought my children back and we have started to set up our lives here. Now, everything is not set in stone. You know, I did come here with my kids during the pandemic and we stayed a good time, a good, you know, year and a half. But there were things that did draw us back to the Caribbean where we were usually based. Different things with friends, work, financial opportunities, things like that. So not to say that you're going to make a decision and it's going to 100% be that place the first time out and you're just going to be good. No. You just know that you have a certain quality of life and a certain experience you want to have on this planet that you know you're not having probably in the United States, because I don't think many people are really pleased with the life experience they're having in the United States. I don't come across them. You know, I come across a lot of people who are there because they feel like they have to for the time being, particularly around finance and needing to be able to access jobs that are local. So, but other than that, most of the people that I come across are, you know, clamoring to try to figure out other options for themselves, wanting to move abroad, wanting to have experiences that are longer term in other countries. And I think it's really important too, because you really, when you don't travel and you haven't been out of the US, you actually have no real perspective on anything global. So you won't understand geopolitics, right? You won't understand this energy of like America just being one place on a globe of places that are so unique and different. Some systems work better than the one in America. There are just so many things that you discover when you leave. But if you never do that, you never give yourself a chance to experience these other realities, it's very much locks you into a very ignorant and stagnant mindset. And so that's why, like the video I just did, responding to some of the comments on my YouTube, you know, videos that I've been doing, I had to address the fact that, you know, these are people that are commenting stupid things like, oh, you're just running away. Is that no, I'm not just running away. I'm actually creating my life and I know what that's supposed to look like. And I'm making choices to get me to where I need it to be. Okay. And where my family needs life to be and what we need that to look like. And, you know, it's so sad that some people, they feel like their hands are tied behind their backs and they don't know how to make moves for themselves. They're very stuck. And so they want everyone to stay stuck too. It's like a misery loves company thing. So I do find a lot of these kind of people come by my channel, and that's all I can think of is that it's a misery loves company thing. Now, I do know there's movements in the U.S. with particularly African Americans who say that they are foundational blacks and all of this kind of stuff. And all that is cute. You know, it's nice. I mean, I'm very clear about the fact that I'm indigenous. My family is indigenous to the United States too, because we're indigenous to everywhere on the globe. So, you know, we didn't all come over from Africa in the last 400 or 500 years to the US. That's not how that happened. And so, you know, I understand myself to be indigenous, but that doesn't mean I'm going to stay on a sinking ship. And does that mean the U.S. is going to fall into the depths of despair, which is already approaching that? But does it mean it's going to completely fall apart in the next couple of years? Maybe not. But to watch what is happening is painful enough. To watch it from outside of the country is hard for me. To think of being there and the kind of paranoia and fear and the stress. All I remember from living there, and I have not lived in the U.S. in over 7 years, but all I remember is being there and just always having a foreboding or a stress that's on my head about this or that. And now with the kidnappings and the shootings and all of these things just amped up since the pandemic, it's like, it's so much stuff you have to be thinking about. Even when you leave your house, it's got to be like a whole prayer and a meditation. And I mean, you need to do so much stuff just to make sure you're protected, just doing simple errands. I mean, to me, that is like a war zone. And that's what it feels like. Now, I'm not going to say it feels like that everywhere. I mean, there are some nice small towns in the U.S. and what have you. I mean, we lived in one we loved a lot, Athens, Athens, Georgia. And it was really nice. Still a violent town. A lot of these thugs that are in Atlanta end up migrating up there. But still, we've experienced some nice places. But that doesn't take away from the fact that it is a very violent and strange location. Hola. So all I gotta say is that yeah, don't listen to naysayers. Focus on your plan for 2026. Focus on writing things down and getting the ball rolling for the life that you want to live. Excuse me, I'm always checking around me. For the life that you want to live. And I'm not always checking around me because I feel unsafe here in Brazil. Here in Sao Paulo, Brazil, the only thing you really have to consider or think about is petty theft. Other than that, it's a pretty non-violent place. So, and that's down here in Sao Paulo. That's not to say there aren't cities where violence is, a big thing. But yeah, so if you see me looking around, it's just because I'm not supposed to be sitting outside on my phone because they like to take phones, even though I've been here for so long and I've never had anyone even approach me or attempt anything here in Sao Paulo. Now, up north, I definitely have had issues, like particularly in Salvador da Bahia. I've been robbed up there. I've been robbed in Rio de Janeiro. So yeah, petty theft is a thing here in Brazil. But going somewhere and having the place be shot up and 10 people die, that is not as much of a thing. So some of the things that people think sound so scary, oh my God, they rob you down there, they pickpocket, yes they do, and I'll take that any day over risking the fact of sending my child to a school that might be violated by crazy people and shot up my small children. Can you imagine? Like, this is crazy. It's crazy that we even consider that normal or something that is okay to do, to send our children to school in these kind of situations, in these kind of realities. But this is the craziness of the United States. And that's why I say, do not be deterred. Write your plan down, get the ball rolling, and start to make movements towards what you want, you know? And as I mentioned earlier in this video, we are doing coaching. I will put all the links below. Come by the stand store and see what we offer. Some longer term, some shorter term, some just consultations to get things going for people. But overall, you probably need to start putting that plan together, just so you have that plan B there in case you really do need to pop and take off, So, and that's it. Does anyone have any questions? I don't know who's really in here because a lot of times the numbers are off. But if you have a question, the one person that looks to be in here, feel free to drop it below. I don't want to rush off. I can hang out. Excuse me. There's like some Star Trek music or something loud up in this grocery store. Yeah, if you have a question, hit me up. Little Christmas music vibes. Okay, well, it doesn't look like anyone is really needing anything or has any questions. So I am going to buy myself a couple of things in the store and head home. You all enjoy your day. Ask me anything below and check out my links to the stand store. I've even got little ebooks and things that I'm selling just to assist people if they just want to read something to get started. Okay, so we got you. We can support your process. Okay, peace and love.